Cool.
All right, welcome back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Elon Podcast Live. And today is really going to be an extra fun one for me because everybody knows that I love horror movies, horror, fall, slashers, all of that. So we're going to talk about scary movies, of course, but as well as society and why do we like to be scared? And I have special guests with me today. So we have Elli, we have Jaiden, and we have Trapdollazmanny, all who love horror, like horror, has interest in horror. And yeah, so how's everybody feeling?
Good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty
I'm
good.
feeling
Yeah,
good. I'm ready for Halloween
me too.
already.
Just let them be.
Do you have any plans? Does anybody have any plans yet for Halloween or ideas?
I I have a show that I'm performing at like right before Halloween, so that's what I'm gonna be doing.
Ooh, I'm excited. Are you gonna dress up?
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna be Rihanna from the Super Bowl, but like the male version. I think I'm
Uh,
gonna do that for the show.
Nice. That's cool.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Girl, Riri. So how about you, Jaden, Ellie,
Velma.
Elma?
Velma. I'm gonna be Velma. So yeah.
Yes.
The baby's gonna be Scooby, and I don't know who V is gonna be, but she's gonna be somebody.
She can be down.
I might do. I haven't decided yet. I'm kind of thinking like Linda Belcher, but I don't know.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I love that. I love that show so much. From Bob's Burger.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be
I
fun.
love this show.
That'll
I but when I wasn't working, I like binged all of the shows. So I'm like, oh, it's all fresh in my brain now.
be true. Okay. Well, I like that. I like that. Okay. So, first of all, what is everybody's favorite scary movie?
Hmm.
If you had to pick one, like let's say you couldn't watch any scary movie, but you could only pick one, what is your favorite scary movie?
That's not fair. One.
Yeah, that's hard.
It's not
Yeah.
about, that's the point.
Uh,
Fair.
ooh. I'm gonna say The Exorcist, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, that's like the ultimate comfort movie for me. I don't know what it is about it. That or The Shining. I could watch those any day of the week.
Really? Huh.
I mean, it's probably-
The
I
Exorcist?
feel like I was just gonna say I have one, but like I feel like it's not on that level. Like I just watched like all the screams, and so now I'm kind of like obsessed. But I feel like Scream is more like a thriller. Like that didn't really scare me. So would
I,
that even count?
I
Yeah,
mean, yeah,
definitely.
we're talking about slashers and horror.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna say Scream is mine. I don't know which one. Don't ask me which one because it's too many. Well, actually, I would say the last one. I actually think the last one was the best one for me. I don't know.
Yeah. The last one was really good. They did really
Mhm.
good with like the remakes with like the new screens, but the last one ate, I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm excited to watch that one again. I have it on Vudu on digital actually. Like I was so excited.
It
But
was so good.
Ellie, how about you? What's your favorite scary movie?
Man, there's so many. I'm stuck in between the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre and
Oh,
13 Ghosts.
And 13 Houses. Ghost.
Ghost.
Interesting. So we
I love Chainsaw Massacre.
so we have Exorcist.
That's a good pick.
So Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Scream are one of them, and then the Exorcist, and then me, I'm always gonna go with the original, the classic, the Halloween, the 1978, the night he came home,
Oh,
Michael Myers.
oh,
No, but I'm
I
gonna come.
fuck
Now I'm
with
about to
it.
come for Trap Manny. So on our chat, we were talking about horror movies, and then you were talking about how they're getting so old and tired, and I'm like, don't be coming for Michael Myers.
I'm just saying, they've been going for like 40 years. How many times you gonna get killed? Like, oh my God. Okay, but what did you think about the one with Tyra?
Okay, well, Resurrection, I mean, yeah, it wasn't, of course, that's like not my favorite, but It's a background. It's one of the ones for the background that I'll like put on. Like, okay, cool. It's Halloween. It's a background movie, probably. But yeah, it's not like my favorite. Yeah, the original is my favorite. Like the first two for sure are my favorite. Halloween 1 and 2.
There's so many of them. I don't even know which one I actually saw. Not even gonna lie.
Yeah, because you said you haven't seen the newer one. It's 2018, right?
Yeah, I saw a preview like the police officer opened the door and killed somebody with the door or something. I said, "Oh yeah, I'm not watching that." That was kind of corny to me, but Michael Myers, do your thing. Mm.
Gosh. So who out of all of the horror figures, who scares you guys the most?
Mm.
I will say the only one that has actually like made me feel like anxious or paranoid, or the only one actually that I've like legitimately had nightmares about is Michael Myers, but only the new portrayal from like 2018 on.
Okay.
There's just something about like the way that James Stewart Courtney portrays him that like that actually like scares the shit out of me sometimes.
Yeah. Oh gee. I see it. I see what you're saying. Yeah. He's definitely more brutal in the new movies. Definitely more brutal for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, especially in kills. He's just was stabbing people left and right. And I'm just like, well, wow, you have no conscience at all.
Do you ever?
Right, never.
Hmm. I think I don't. I don't know why I'm thinking like movies that's not like popular, but for me as a child, I was scared of Jeepers Creepers. Like I could not go to sleep for like when he came on the ceiling of that bus and snatched some kids up through the hole. That ain't never left my mind. I ain't never want to get on the bus and go in no desert. Mm-mm. That movie is still in my brain, and I'm 25 now.
So that was
Mm-mm.
story
I'm
that
scared
my
of it.
aunt, that was literally the last horror movie she's ever watched in her life because it scared her that bad.
Really?
Wow.
Mm-hmm. It's an
Oh,
excellent story. I mean, as new age like creature feature, scary stuff, I would say that Jeepers Creepers tops the list because the back story, everything was so well thought out and put together. And then they're gonna bring it. I think they're bringing the new movie out soon too.
Mm,
yeah. Mhm.
I need to
I'm
rewatch him.
scared of them.
I don't know. When Jeepers Creepers had this whole little era and everyone was talking about it, I never really gave it that much attention, to be honest. So I need to
What?
watch them to have an opinion on it. But I never really, I don't know. I
I mean, I
don't,
think about it every time I see like a dusty, crazy looking like somebody driving like a wagon or like an old F-150 or something like that. I'm always thinking about that movie. Or if I'm on a long country road and there's a like old beat up wagon behind
Oh,
me, I'm like, oh god, just no Jeepers Creepers.
yes. Mm.
It's like the whole thing with driving behind a log truck. Like I move immediately. I have to move immediately. You know what movie? What was that? That killed. It just killed me. I was like,
oh, was it Final
Oh,
Destination?
Destination. I was like, oh no,
Yes.
no, no,
Mm.
no. So yeah.
And now I'm going to be scared to be driving behind them now. Thank you.
I'm sorry. It's the truth though. Literally, I
You
moved.
should be after that movie. Mm.
Are this dog stable? Ooh,
Okay,
yeah.
so what was the first horror movie that you guys have ever watched? Because mine was honestly, besides it's between I think it was Child's Play. Because honestly, I'm not gonna lie, when I was like a kid and watching Child's Play, it was creepy as hell. Chucky was creepy as hell to me when I was a child when that first came out. But and then I grew up watching the Halloweens besides that, so that's why I'm like really into Michael Myers. But how about you all?
I think mine was actually Jeepers Creepers, and I think that's why I'm so scared of it.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Like, and then it's the fact that like when I first watched it, I watched it in like the middle of nowhere in my family's house, and we were in the woods, and the woods looked just like Jeepers Creepers. So I was like, oh no, never again. Mm-mm.
I don't know the first. I don't know. I'm thinking. I feel like I've been watching them since I was born. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I just like to ask the question. And Jaden, I see you're heavily thinking too.
The first one I remember like actively watching, I think it was The Sixth Sense, actually, which I guess is like more of a thriller, but
I did go to the movies to see that when I was a kid, so I don't know. I'm trying to think. It needs to be a theater. It needs to be something I watched in the theater because that's how I think as a kid those type of movies have a very strong impact on you. Can't think.
You know what I love? So the writer of Scream, Kevin Williamson, he like when he snuck in to watch, I think with his brother, I believe, or someone to watch the original Halloween. And so he got so creeped out that night or something like that as a child. And then I remember he mentioned like his motivation for Scream was he was living in Florida and there was like these actual murders because Scream is actually based off of like the Ripper or something, the Ripper something murders. And so he was like on the phone, it was like late at night, and he was on the phone with a friend. And so his friend kept making like all of these Jason noises, etc., because of the killer was on the loose from like killing all of these college students and everything. And yeah, he was just so creeped out, and that's how he started writing Scream. But he named it Scary Movie because we all know this the spoof. So Scream was actually originally called Scary Movie.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that? Yeah.
I did not know that either. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and that's how I love how they went about that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a fact. I do know that, but I always remember that. But so supernatural. So have any of you had any like supernatural uh like occurrences? I know it's so random.
I have seen a ghost. I've seen one.
Really? Like
Yeah.
recently?
It was a couple years ago. It was in like it was in the antique shop in downtown Aiken.
Mm-hmm. Not
That's
the antique shop. So was it like late or early in the day?
No, it was like mid-afternoon, and I was with a friend of mine, and like he was facing one way, but I was facing the other way, and we both saw the same guy, like a man in a green coat, like sat in a chair, and there was no chair and no like guy in a coat.
Well, that's
Well,
creepy.
Not as terrifying as I thought it would be, but it was still like really cool.
I'm screaming. I love that though. Jaden said not as terrifying as you think, but it was cool.
Um, I feel like for me, I've always like kind of seen stuff. I feel like I'm like kind of psychic. Like I don't know. I just feel like I always had an intuition, and I just feel like I always know when stuff is gonna happen before it happens. Or I'll either have like a dream about it and then it actually happens. I'm just like, but it's like you don't want to tell nobody because then people will think you crazy. So I just be shutting up. But yeah, I always have like visions and stuff, and they be happening.
Mm, I love that.
Yeah, I wish I could see the lottery numbers, but
Yeah. And then when you do, you can share.
right.
Just just send me email. Say,
Please share.
I got y'all. We're gonna split the $1 billion ball.
there you go. Period.
No, I would say yeah. So when I was a kid, I would say a lot of like dark entities would bother me because I stayed really sick, like all the time in the hospital. Had asthma really bad. It's just like would not let up. And no matter what, I went to a friend's birthday party, I'm getting sick the next day. I like it's just always something. But also I feel like, that stuff can be spoken onto you from people. I would see this man in my room with like a brim to the hat and like he had the hat on and he would have like reddish eyes and he would just stand in the corner of my room and stare at me and like I was so scared I couldn't move. I would like freeze. And like there's actually some videos on YouTube about people talking about this and I can't believe this is occurrence that happened around the world. So it's like he was in a trench coat and he had just had couldn't really see his face. You just saw the outline of everything and just this intense stare. He would just say nothing, but you felt like this very darkness. Like I couldn't move. So like I was paralyzed. I couldn't move and it was like having a night terror. And then when I finally got enough, I guess, belief in myself, I would get up and run to my mom's room and jump in her bed. But like he would just not give up. And this happened from like the age of 4 to about 7, 8. And it just would happen randomly, but I would always feel it like earlier in the day, like I would always feel like this weird, I don't know how to say it, not queasy, it's like nauseous, but like feel like something like he's coming. I would always feel like he's coming, he's gonna be there tonight. And I would know it. And I'm like, dang, why did he always kept coming to me? I had no clue then. But yeah, I just think it's the energy that I possessed as a child and that I still somewhat possess. So I think that's what like brought that entity to me. It was so weird. But just knowing there's so many stories around the world, people seeing the same type of man from different cultures, different countries, just there's something with that. It almost feels like it's like a glitch in the matrix. Like it's almost like he's what was the guy called from the Matrix? John? Was it John? The actual agent? I can't remember. The agent himself that would always like chase Keanu.
So did the guy with the red eyes, from your research, was it just kids or just all ages or different people or like
just different people? Like someone actually did a really good YouTube video for it and broke it down. But like I think I read mine on Quora, or it was either that or Reddit. I think I saw it. But there's like a whole forum for it. It's just wild to me. And like there's a bunch of different people just talking about their experiences growing up and seeing that same entity. That's the weirdest and craziest thing. I haven't really had too much. I'm clairaudient, so I can hear. I feel like sometimes I can hear others' thoughts, even though I don't want to. So that's the creepiest thing I think lately. And I'm pretty like on point with it too. This might be me in tune with their energy, and I don't even have to know them that well. Weird.
Yeah, there's like a lot of energy in the world that people don't understand is real, and then I do believe it's like the energy that you give to things comes back. Because I remember when I was younger, I used to watch like the shows like A Haunting and stuff a lot, all the paranormal shows a lot, and I used to love them. And I remember like I would come home, I would be like really young, and I would like be home alone after school some days because like my mom would like be at work and she was actually like 30 minutes away, and I would always like make my little snack, go in the room, close the door, and my little crazy ass was just ready to watch something scary in the house alone after school. I'm like, Mark, what the fuck is wrong with you? But anyways, so there was this one night, and so like the house I grew up in, it was like I grew up with just my mom, so it was like just us. She had a room, I had a room, and there was an extra room. And so I don't know why, but I was sleeping in like the extra room. And so there was this one night, I just remember waking up and like, no lie, and I always remember this. I remember like the vision of everything, but something was grabbing my leg and like pulling me and like just grabbing my leg. And I just remember just like, I was like, I felt like I was in a scary movie because I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And it's one of those things, I don't know why, like, I think maybe I called my mom name one time, but I didn't repeat it. But I'm one of those people, like if something happens, I feel like I need to stay calm, kind of like how nurses do, how they tell people like with nurses, you have to stay calm and not like be overly loud or move. And I just remember just looking around the room, and I just like you, Ellie, I just sat there and stood there and I did not move. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I just didn't want to react. And I don't know, every time I remember that, like I know I was like a kid, but it's just one of those, but I wasn't even, I think honestly, I think it was like middle school, to be honest, like seventh grade or something. So that's why I don't think I was really crazy. But my point in that, I'm like, oh my God, should I like bring like a lot of energy in from like my thoughts or things around me? But then again, the town I grew up in is very like a ghost town and crazy and evil. Yeah, but that's a discussion for another day. But okay, guys. So anyways, besides all of that, like, why do you all think that society, we as people, like scary movies? Why do we like haunted attractions and all of these things? Like, Jaiden, I want to know your perspective on this.
I think in terms of this, fear plays into a part of it. And I think fear is an emotion that people don't feel as much as they feel like happiness or sadness or anything. I mean, like people feel anxious all the time, but I think actual fear where you're like legitimately scared, I don't think people feel that as much as they do normally. And so I think scary movies, haunted houses, things like that, I feel like those are like really big because they like elevate that level of fear, but you also know like subconsciously like you are still safe. So you get that like adrenaline rush and you get those feelings of fear, but you also know like it's gonna be over, like you're fine after.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. That's pretty much how I kind of feel about it, basically. It's like, wow, that's scary. This is scary. I'm gonna do it, but like I know I'm gonna be safe. Like last year, I went to this haunted attraction to where basically everyone gets on a bus and they drive you through the woods and you're basically being scared and then you go through like houses, etc. Like when we pulled off, they zoomed and then it was like in the woods on this dirt road and then they started playing like that loud music like some it was like a song from Bride of Chucky but yeah, and the next thing you know, you see Freddy Krueger and Michael Myers on the outside of the bus and like trying to get in the bus. And then while the car is moving, they get in and they're scaring everybody. And then you just go through the haunted attraction. So it's fun, but yeah. So Trapdollazmanny, what's your like perspective when like why do you like horror? Because I know you like horror too. Like why do you like horror? Why do you like to get scared?
Um, I don't know. I feel like it's something about the adrenaline rush, and I feel like that's like the safest way to get one, if that makes sense. Like, it's some people that like to be daredevils and like jump off buildings and stuff. I'm not into all that. I like to watch a movie, get scared, and then be fine. Like you said earlier, I like to be safe after. I don't want to like. I don't got time to be jump off buildings and do all that. I don't even like roller coasters no more. So I'd rather just watch the little scary movie and then go on by my life. I like adrenaline rush for like a moment in time. I don't want it to be like something that's like damaging to my life. I feel like some people like like fighting and doing all that other stuff for adrenaline rushes. Uh, I like just for a moment in time. I don't want to do all that just to get an adrenaline rush.
I
Yeah.
love it. So you wouldn't walk around like in the graveyard? Like would you guys like just walk around at night with friends like at a graveyard? How do you feel about that?
It's a lot of energy. It's a
Yeah.
lot of energy. And I already deal with dudes that can already be kind of borderline crazy or stalkerish. I don't need to go stalking me. I don't need it following me back to my place, to my apartment, and being like, I'm gonna chill with you. No, you're not. No, you're not. And then
Okay.
up and just no, no. So I feel like I'm a magnet for certain people. Like, yeah. So no, that's a lot of energy. Because I feel like if there's a spirit that knows I know it's there, is gonna approach me in some weird way, or I don't want that. I'm good. I stick to what the living does. It's like the feeling you get graveyard to me is just as comparable as the feeling you get when you walk in a funeral home. It's like a freaking tunnel of like time definitely does not exist there, and it's like scary. So like funeral homes for me always freak me out. Always have since I was a child. It's like a void because like there's no sound. Ugh, just yeah, that eerie feeling. Graveyards do the same thing. So no graveyards at night. You are so ready.
No, I'm just asking questions. I'm like it's spooky season. I'm just asking questions. I'm just ready to talk about spooky stuff because it's basically fall. I already started putting up old decorations. I'm just ready. The summer heat is getting on my nerves, so I'm like forcing fall and like goodbye summer. Goodbye. I'm gonna push you over there. Um, what are your favorite? Who's your favorite like final girl? Everyone. And I'm asking this question because honestly, I need to think about it too.
Um,
Hmm. Well, I
that's
mean,
hard.
Oh God, yeah, that's hard.
there's a lot of them.
Do you guys okay, so do you guys think I feel like there's this thing sometimes about Laurie Strode being annoying. Do you guys think Laurie Strode is annoying?
Well, it's just
Who?
like she annoying.
I've seen it was just something like online I saw because it's like, I don't know, it's just like how extreme she goes. But like after watching the new ones, I really like the storytelling of like the fear of being attacked and it happened years ago and then having that trauma. But I don't know. I think when you look at all the variation of all the Halloween ones, everyone just resonates. Tori with Lori. Well, Jamie Lee Curtis is the ultimate, I guess, scream queen, basically. But they just see her as like, oh, I'm just screaming all the time. So it's just like they just think it's annoying. I'm like, don't come from Lori and Jamie. She's like the ultimate, like Terror Train, Prom Night, the Halloween movies. So Ellie, you said you like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So what do you like about Sally? Her name was Sally, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's Sally.
I was so good at that. No, I don't know. The one that was done in the 70s, the late 70s, was so I like the props to it. It's more of like background stuff. Like I really like how they had to put more of an effort into the scare in older horror movies like that. You have really had to put the effort into it. And I think the eeriness of like the town itself and the costume designs were perfect. The gore was perfect. That movie itself just has it's the angles. It's that one angle. I think it was at the end of the movie, and like they're pulling off, and like they have the person with the I don't know. I gotta pull it up. No, I'm not gonna do that now. But yeah, I might have to edit a clip in that of what I'm talking about because it's like still stuck in my head. Like you see them driving off, and like the town people or chainsaw guys there, and it's like this slow like pan out, and like I loved it. I thought it was iconic from the beginning to the end. And but it have a really good built up scares in that one. I like that. So it's kind of hard to scare people through the film sometimes, I think.
Have you guys ever like dealt with like stalkers? I'm sorry, it's not it's
I didn't get to that point in life yet.
not
Yeah,
yet.
much. I mean, it don't take much.
I've had my fair share of creepy people, but I don't know about stalkers in the like sense of the word.
There's a reason I haven't posted any pictures on social media in over a year.
That's fair.
Yeah, I will post soon. But yeah, people are crazy sometimes. Like, I don't know. I think when people get to, I don't want to make this about me, but like, it is, in all honesty, I think when they really get to know me and they see how much of a genuine person I am with like just being a decent human being, it pisses them off or it makes them like fall in love with me. And I don't know. It's always the extremes with me. I always get people who really either hate me or really, really love me.
Yeah.
Always some like unrequited because it's like we're not on the same page for us to be together, you know? It's like I'm just really a good person and make sure I do my best to be a good person to people. But I've learned to just, draw back, protect my energy because, people will drain you. And like I'm easily drained. Like I don't it's hard for me to like I'm not a manifesting generator. I'm a projector, emotional projector. So I always have to keep my emotions in line so I can have my money up and have a clear mind. So it's just, yeah.
Mm.
So I try not to go down the route of, running and chasing and dealing with too many of the crazies anymore.
Yeah. Well, we've dealt with somebody really crazy before, and that's why I'm asking somebody really crazy who was like really like
he's gonna kill us.
Basically, yeah, like definitely, yeah. So that's what we're laughing because like we have this laugh at everything, but just yeah. So that's why I was asking, like, because we were talking about this the other day, Ellie, that basically we were amongst a freaking murderer, basically.
Yeah. Was that Norman Bates? I would say he's like Norman Bates.
Yeah, very Norman Bates. Yeah. Yeah. So we're not gonna go super in detail, but long story short, like when you look back at it, like thinking about it when we were talking about it, I'm just like, holy shit.
You can tell him the story. You might as well. I mean, years removed from it, thank God.
Yeah. Long story short, we were working because we were doing film in the past, and we worked with somebody who was on set with us and was very, very reserved, didn't show like a lot of emotion all of the time. and was very aggressive and defensive at times. And Ellie and this person like had like they knew each other first and had like some type of like, you know, bond. And then that didn't really go well. And so I just felt like everybody else kind of like around had to like deal with that. And so the person kind of like over time, you can see like this when you look back at it, like, you know, when people have like, they like just build up this tension and this weird anger out of the blue. And I remember it was like on the, like on one of our like slasher sets actually. Um, the energy was just so off. Long story short, like this energy was off. Like somebody on set was like, "Is he okay?" I feel like I don't know. It's just his energy is just very like tense. And I remember, as we were setting up, he got I don't know what happened, but I was asking him simple questions, and he got very like aggressive with me, and I was like, okay. But I'm the type of person when I show up on set, I have to do my job. I'm like, okay, I don't got time for this. But the energy, it was just so weird. And a lot happened that day on set. And a lot happened when I was inside and they were like, Ellie had to deal with like a lot of backlash of that
Crazy.
and craziness. And then
He
the guy
spazzed out.
luckily ended like left and just was like, okay, cool. So I'm happy that like I feel like we were protected because I feel like there was something to him that was like like causing some resistance with himself that he had to stop. But when we looked at all of the signs, it was scary looking at it and just knowing that hey, this guy really just had these really bad intentions of hurting us. And it
Like
was
blacked out.
somebody that we actually like spent a night in a hotel room with and everything. And I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, holy crap. When we look back at it, I'm like, what have we
Really could have killed us that night in the hotel. Flashed our throats and just like dipped. You really could have. Like, I don't
yeah.
know. That was the craziest thing. I kept my calm. It was like the eye of the storm where I was super calm and even made light joke of it because I was like, I'm not about to be dying on this set. I'm dying here in little old small town, you know what? Like, forget this. I was just like, so I'm just gonna stay calm. I let him like express himself and how much he hated me, and which I really feel like, you know, he was teetering the line of love and hate with me so much and just questioning himself. And it was so much. You know, this is why I have a balance of dealing with my hetero friends and my LGBT friends because you get too close to the heteros, their mind starts going and they don't know, they get confused in their head. And you know, if someone gets caught up in their feelings, you have no control over that. I can only be accountable for, you know, we all can only be accountable for ourselves, you know? And I'm big on that. So just yeah, I don't know. He just spazzed and like I stayed calm because I was like really hurt though. Because he's just had the bigger than me and just musclehead, crazy, just spaz. I mean, I hate sorry for using the word spaz. And I know that's like a not the term we use anymore because it's like a disability or something. Or
Did not know that.
yeah. Yeah. But no, so I don't know. It's just that's what started me on my journey though, of where I am today. So like I left that old piece of crap energy back where it belongs in that small town.
Amen. Period.
Yeah, I'm happy because nobody had time for you to be a final girl and movie like it's Scream or something. And I did not have time to be running from somebody on a damn slasher set. On a
On
slasher set. And that's the whole thing. On a slasher, like literally, we were about to like be murdered on a slasher set.
because he literally, I was outside the house and they were all inside waiting to practicing their lines for their next scene. Oh God, just even that's bringing me. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm getting scared like this. I'm getting scared like he outside my door. No, but like I was there, he just like I don't know, like he towers over me, and he was in my face, like an inch away from my face, and like you could see that you know his pupils got dilated, and he just was ranting and calling me all types of names, and just he went from 0 to 100 so quick. I didn't even have time to like think. I froze. And I was like, if I make one wrong move, he will completely in my life right now. Like, because he could literally snap my neck. Like, he's a big guy. He's not small. Oh God, and if he can snap my neck, little one over here, it'd been done.
I don't
One and done.
have time for that. But and then what's so crazy is I didn't find out until a few days later that all of this happened outside. So I'm inside waiting for everybody, practicing my lines, and then I don't know which one of you came in, but the energy was like so off and so weird. And then I was just
It
like,
was so
what the hell
funny.
happened? And I'm like, okay, whatever. Let me go back into acting mode. And then I found out like a few days later. But when I look back at all of the signs, it's just it was really scary if you think about it, because I'm like, oh my gosh, we really were like around literally somebody who can be a murderer. And that's the thing in general in society. We walk around people, we go to the grocery store, fast food places, the mall, wherever, and you don't know who can snap. Like, literally, I almost got kidnapped in the mall. Literally,
mean,
I almost got kidnapped.
I was
And
kidnapped before.
somebody like stalked me in the mall. And so I'm,
What?
huh? Yeah.
Wait, what? You were
Yeah. So
kidnapped?
yeah.
How
Yeah,
long?
Yeah. And
I
this
mean, I was kidnapped for like half a day. I mean,
what?
it's funny now because like I'm alive, but like I was crying and screaming and throwing up in that back seat.
Okay. I didn't. How did this? Wait. What happened?
I need details.
So I was on my way to work and I took an Uber. And mind you, my job was only 20 minutes from my house. And so I was on the phone. I was just looking down my phone the whole time. And I was like, we're going the wrong direction. So I kept telling, and mind you, it was a lady. So I was like, we're going the wrong way. Like, what's going on? And she just like the way she was talking to me. First of all, she thought I was a girl. I don't know why, because I didn't even have hair back then. So I don't understand. So she kept calling me girl. And then two, it just seemed like her mental state was not all the way there. So I didn't get out the car until like an hour. Mind you, I said my job was 20 minutes from my house. So actually it was almost like 2 hours. So she would not let me out the car. She just kept talking to me like we was having regular conversation. I was just like, girl, what the fuck? Like, let me out this fucking car. So in my head, I'm like, if I beat this lady in her head, we're both gonna die. So I can't just beat her up while she's driving. She hasn't pulled over, she hasn't stopped nowhere. So I'm like, oh my God, what I'm gonna do? So I'm like, the first chance I get, I'm gonna get the hell out this car. So we were on the highway, we went through the tolls and everything. That's how far I was from my house. So then I saw like some people and I just started yelling. And then I was like, let me out this car, let me out this car. I was just going. And she finally stopped. And then I got out and I ran out. And I went into this store where it was but like I feel like I was the only black person in that store. And everybody was just looking at me because I was crying so bad. I was just like, I don't know what the hell to do. And I was stuck. I couldn't get home. My job was calling me like, where you at? Like, this just got kidnapped. Like, they didn't care. They didn't care about nothing about me being kidnapped. So then when I got home, well, my mom had to drive all the way out there and come pick me up. So then when I got home, I told Uber and they didn't give a fuck either. So it it was a mess. It was a mess. Uber never did anything.
Oh
It
my
was
God.
crazy.
Hold on. I'm screaming.
They didn't care about anything with the kidnapping, and they tried to fire me after I told them the story. But like go ahead. Like I feel like that's another thing. Jobs are horror movies too. They don't care about your mental health, your mental well being, your physical well being. They didn't care. So, but yeah, I'm alive. I'm fine. I'm amazing. And that lady, I think she got fired. I think they did fire her, but I never got like nothing else. They wanted me to go on the news, but I wasn't doing all that because I was like, y'all know how social media is. They were like, why didn't you beat her up? Why didn't you do this? Why? I'm like, just leave me alone. Like, I'm not trying to die. That's why I didn't hit her in her head. But yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's like the classic horror movies to where somebody's in the back of like a cop car, but she was in that Uber. And she
That's
out.
It's crazy.
And you know what? You know what? It's so crazy because like I feel like a lot of people associate like bad things or kidnappings or stalking happening with guys, but sometimes women really be trying it. And they really
Yeah, or they'll be like helping the guy. That's what I'm like. it's not always men that's like doing the heavy lifting. Sometimes women will try to get you too, just to get you to the guy.
Ugh. Scary.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let me tell y'all about the mall. So I'm in the mall with my mom, and listen, I'm like 24, 21, literally, just literally 21. Like, just like I'm in the mall with my mom. Um, we went to different parts of like the store. I went to Spencer's. That's what happened. I went to Spencer's. She was somewhere else. And then next thing, like so there was like this guy, like this tall man, dark skinned man. He's like big, bulgy eyes. He had on like a button-up shirt, some like regular slacks. And so I'm in Spencer's looking at stuff, like, okay, cool, bam, bam. I see him like eyeing me, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I go to another part of the store. Same thing, like, and I'm like, okay, you're following me. I'm like, okay, this is weird. Like every part of the store that I'm going to, like he's following me and looking at me, and it's just so weird because it's like, what are you doing in here? And honestly, before Spencer's, it was another store that I was in before then. So he followed me from that store, but I didn't really pick it up until I got into Spencer, and I realized that this guy was another store looking at me. And so he finally gets close to me, and I just look at him, and he asked me a question. You guys want to know what he asked me?
I'm
Do you
scared.
wear panties? Do you wear panties? It was
Oh.
so random. He's like, do you wear panties? And I just looked at him,
Oh,
and
not the voice.
I looked at him, and I walked out of the store. And then when I walked out of Spencer's, out of that one store, I look back, he's following me. So it's like one of these like weird, like I was in a movie, like I feel like I was like in that what's that show? I don't know, but anyways, we'll go back to the show. But I'm walking in the mall, I'm looking back, and he's following me slowly, like literally, like, you're not Michael Myers. Like, why do you think this is okay? You're not Michael Myers. Only Michael Myers can do this, not you. And so I find like a Barnes and Nobles, and then I like just quickly go in there. Like I pass like the food court. It's like a whole movie. Like when you see like all the people everywhere in your face, and then you're trying to like dodge, like an action movie. And then I go into a Barnes and Nobles, and then I'm going into Barnes and Nobles, and then I go through different shelves, like different like sections of the store. And so I see he comes in, and I'm literally like in a scary movie. I'm like in one aisle, and I'm like, where is he? And then the other aisle, where is he? And then I saw him, but he didn't see me. And then I just jetted out with a fast-paced walk out of Barnes and Nobles. And then I found my mom. And I had to like nothing happened. Until this day, my mom does not know that I almost got kidnapped. But he stalked me in the mall. He asked me, did I wear panties? And he followed me to every store. And I could have been kidnapped. And I was like, this is crazy.
Like, what do you mean?
It was
Do
so
you wear
random.
panties?
I'm like, do you wear like
Like,
the first thing you say to me, like you're following me, and then you're like, do you wear panties? And then you then you follow me. Then you continue to follow me in the store. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy could have kidnapped me. And that was
I would
crazy.
have took one of the mugs that be expensive that beat him upside his head.
Those are heavy.
Yeah, that's what he deserved. Because what do you mean? Do you wear panties? That's weird.
It was just
Ew.
so weird and so random. So weird and so random. Gosh, but yeah.
That's mm,
Okay, but
that's crazy.
so Jaiden, who's your favorite final girl?
So now that I've had time to think, I'm gonna say Sydney from Scream. Just like Scream was the first slasher that like I watched, and so it holds like a really special place in my heart. But I also love Ripley from Alien. Because like she did like that whole thing by herself with a cat.
I don't think I remember. I I saw Alien when I was a kid, but I don't remember everything about it right now. So I need to revisit that.
Isn't that Sigourney Weaver?
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, yeah, oh, definitely. She ate that.
Just oh my god.
Just like Rory Strode. That was Yeah, it's interesting to see her like in different film, doing like different types of films now.
Yeah.
She did that for decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Mark, to answer your question earlier, Laurie Strode, I feel like, I mean, she's like the main Fido girl that everyone knows. Like her and Nancy, I feel like are like the two that everyone knows. I don't think she's like annoying or overdone. I'm a little frustrated with how they played her character out in Halloween Ends. Because they built it up so much over the first two movies that like, you know, she had trauma, she was suffering, like she lost her family, and then the final one came and she's like, oh well, I'm fine now, I wrote a book, and like she just kind of like got rid of it. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and then there was like Halloween Ends, there was like this random killer. I don't know if his name was Corey or something, and then Michael Myers was like waiting in some like sewer or something, and then I don't remember everything. It was just weird, and I was just like, why did you guys end it this way?
Yeah.
And I'm just like so disappointed. I'm like, why did you guys end it this way? But okay, so you said that, cool. Nobody, I don't know. Okay, cool. But I'm just gonna go with honestly same Sydney or Nancy from A Nightmare on Elm Street. But I really like A Nightmare on Elm Street a lot when I think about it, the original, because if you think about the message of it, at the end of it, she really took her power back because she turned her back on him because he really was just like trying her this whole movie. And then she was like, you killed everybody in my life. You tried it. You had me in this boiler room. You took everybody away from me. And then you really think that you're going to take me out? And then she went back into that house. She turned her back and he disappeared. But yeah, so I've been having like really crazy like dreams. Like a month ago, I had like this whole week to where I was having out of the ordinary dreams. Like, do you guys have like really bad, like crazy dreams at all or no?
From time to
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Um,
You said what?
from time to time, I just try to. I don't know. That's when I have like a really crazy series of dreams because it's always more than one. I mean, I wake up and I still remember fragments of it. I sit there and either try to recollect it or I feel like when we go to sleep, we go to like other realities, other worlds, other dimensions. I know it's all a deep dive in the conversation, but there's definitely a conversation for another day. But I feel like you exist in another reality, and I'm like, what brought me to that one? Always a question like, what brought me to that? When I wake up, I'm like, whoa, that was crazy. Or I feel like when other people are in my dreams, it's not me thinking about them; it's them thinking about me, and they present themselves. Because sometimes it's like people from like way long ago that I don't even keep a contact with, and I'm like, so I don't know.
I had a weird dream the other day. So like I really believe in like when you go to sleep, you really have to know like your intentions with like what's the last thing that was in your mind before you go to sleep. But well, this wasn't even about that. So these two people I know told me that they went to this it's called Old Sheldon Church Road, like this old burned down church, in South Carolina. And so I know of the area and I've been there before. And the conversation happened maybe like a day or two before I had a dream. And then I had this weird dream to where I was on that road and there was like this creepy old man next to me and we were holding hands on that road. And I'm like, this is weird. And I'm like, does this mean anything? Or is it really just like I just made this up because I heard, like, I don't know. I didn't really like think about it. I just heard people talk about it. I knew the area and then this happened. But dreams are really crazy though. But I really do feel like we gotta ask people like be careful with our last thoughts before we go to bed because I feel like we create our reality sometimes with what we're thinking about. Because oh my God, no, Ellie, that was like, listen, so you remember when I told you like I like what happened? I was home one day. I didn't go to work for some reason. And so I fell asleep, but I fell asleep on TikTok after watching a video on sundown towns. And then I fell asleep that me and you were in this basement in a sundown town. And then all of like these crazy people were like, it was like dark. No, guys, listen, it was like, it was dark and it was like water dripping from like the ceiling and everything like that. And then all I know is like Ellie, I don't think you remember this, but yeah, but it was like a bunch of people from a sundown town in that basement with just us. And it's because like I fell asleep watching TikToks. It was so weird because there was this story of like this guy, he went viral. So him and his fiance or wife, they live in an RV, and so they travel. And so he got into like Virginia. Basically, when he got to Virginia, he got to like this, yeah, because I DMV. So I trapped.
Down the street.
Yeah, down the street. I'm sorry. And so he stopped at this gas station, I think he was saying. And so basically the lady was just acting weird and she was like, I don't think you need to, I don't think you need to be here right now, especially around this time. Because some of them will actually warn them or just be like, hey, that it gives very Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes whenever they have like they're at the gas station. Yeah. And so he was like, okay, this is weird, but he needed to get gas. And I don't remember the rest of the story, but I just remember it going viral because he ran into like the lady and then he found out it was a sundown town. And then I started like going on TikTok and seeing other videos of other people's perspectives, like this one guy who's a truck driver. And then it's always on like these weird in like dead end zones or like weird like intersections. And so the guy was going for a delivery and he said when he was like taking this turn, just everything about it was just so weird, like very like wrong turn, like dead end. And then he got to the place, and then once again they warned him. They were like, yeah, they were like in a rush. They were helping him get everything off of the truck, and the guys were just like, okay, you gotta go. I don't think you want to be here. It was like 6 at this point. It was around like 6 o'clock in the afternoon, so it was getting near that time to where the lighting was going to go down, and he was just like it was just so weird. And then somebody told him that, hey, this is a sundown town basically and your kind can't be here. But anyways, I was going through a bunch of TikToks, and then yeah, Ellie, and so you just got brought into the dream. I don't know what happened, but you got brought into
Imagine us doing that. Don't you imagine that happening to us?
and I woke up and I was like sweating.
I bet. No, at least we survived, right?
I mean, we didn't like die or survive. It just ended with like all of them like crowding over us in the basement. It was creepy.
No, you know what sundown towns are, right? Both you guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, oh my God. That's like, I guess, top tier fear of real like horrors for me. Like if that ever, I mean, I feel like the town we were in like was somewhat, no, it wasn't at all actually, but not far from that. We could have ended badly, in those small, even hick country towns.
Yeah.
So I think I would be very careful on exits I get off. I wouldn't take like a small town exit. I don't know anybody. I don't think that's a good idea. And make sure I always have enough gas to get where I need to be.
Have you guys watched the Wrong Turn movies?
Yeah.
I've seen the first one.
Oh, really? I like the first, I think 3, and then after that it just gets kind of like crazy, but it's weird. So
I thought it was only one. It's more than one.
yes, there's literally more than one, but I actually like 2 a lot too. 2 was like just very just off the wall, freaky with some weird stuff. And you had 2 of them. They was like on the beach. Oh no, this is what happened. One of them, I don't know if he was like, yeah, he was like basically like taking advantage of a human, like an actual like, victim. And then like his lover, because they're all like very like genetically, not there. And the girl, she saw what he was doing and she just went and killed the guy. It was random. It was just so crazy, but it was interesting. So I might rewatch those actually. But those were weird. Like, first of all, what's the weirdest scary movie that you feel like you guys watched that was like so sick and twisted and demented? And one movie I need to watch is what's the movie? It's like it came out like maybe like 5 years ago, like with the little girl. Crap, what is it called? Everybody said it's like crazy.
The
Is it
Morgan?
the one where the little girl was in a wheelchair?
Maybe.
I don't know. I've watched a lot of little girl movies, like scary movies.
Really do. A couple of them came out the same time in the past few years.
Yeah. Like I know it's one that a girl was in a wheelchair and then she had like a stepsister or like an orphan sister or something, and they were getting possessed. I don't remember the name of that though. But like I feel like it's a bunch of those movies. So I don't know.
What's your favorite Chucky movie?
Hmm. I don't know. That's hard because I feel like a lot of them are good. But I've seen all of them, but I also can't remember what in what movie. But I think I like the one with is it the Bride of Chucky? And it was like the lady with the black hair. If that's it, I think I like that one the most. I used to watch that one a lot.
Yeah, when Tiffany was introduced. Yeah.
I love her voice.
I like the original. When you look back at on the original one, was really creepy because then it had like all these like voodoo roots and stuff like that. It was like I don't know. I feel like the original one, when I look back at it, was like really like by far the creepiest one. But after that, it just became more like fun. Like Bride of Chucky for me is like a fun movie. Like it's just a fun slasher movie.
Hmm.
And then you had Cedar
Yeah.
Chucky. Fine, and Cedar Chucky was just so random, but
Oh,
like
that was a good one too.
that was good. I remember like I had like a little cousin, when I lived in Florida. So like me and my mom, we moved to Florida and for like a little bit. And so, but when we first moved, like because we stayed with somebody, so we would come back home because she still had like our house in our hometown. So we would like come back on the weekends, and then I would always be ready to see my cousin. And then for some reason, we would every weekend watch Cedar Chucky. And I'm like, as little kids, are we sick that we're like 9 years old and we're just like, I'm ready to watch Cedar Chucky? Like, are you coming over this weekend so we can watch Cedar Chucky? And when I look back at it, I'm like, we really are sick. As kids sometimes.
That's it.
I'm screaming. I didn't mean to say it like that, but yeah. Jaiden, like, tell me
That
about
makes
horror. So,
sense.
Jaiden, you like a lot of horror. So, like, I want to hear you talk about horror stuff more.
I like
We-
um
what are your go-tos besides The Shining and The Exorcist?
um a lot of slashers, the Halloween franchise, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, like the usual ones. I'm on a Hereditary kick right now.
That's the
Uh,
movie. That's the movie I was talking about.
I will say that is like the one movie like I left the theater because I saw it in the theater and I left feeling physically uncomfortable after. Like I love it. I love the movie, the score. Like it's one of those like every time I watch it, I notice something different that I didn't notice like the first time. And it's great. There's like all these little puzzle pieces that you just keep picking back up on.
That's the one Thomas was telling me too. Like everybody I know who's watched it said that, hey, I left the movie theater and that was really some sick, demented, twisted, crazy ass shit.
Yeah, it's good. I will say it's really good. Um, I love the Terrifier movies, both of them.
Oh, with Art the Clown. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, All Hallows Eve is where when he was introduced, right?
yeah.
So like are you all scared of clowns? Because it's always been this thing to where people are scared of clowns. And I don't think like growing up, I never really was scared of clowns, but a lot of people are just like, I hate clowns.
I'm not really I've never been afraid of clowns actually. Um I think a lot of that because I know so many people that said like they were afraid of clowns, but they watched like the original It when they were growing up, and it just like scarred them.
Hmm. I like the original It. I do like it. I feel like Pennywise was pretty creepy. It was just like a long series, but I liked it.
Yeah, Pennywise was creepy as hell.
I honestly think it's the teeth. Like if the teeth weren't like that, I feel like I wouldn't have been scared.
Oh,
The teeth were like they just gonna bite your ribs out.
the Terrifier, I was surprised that it, well, no, I shouldn't have been that surprised it caught on so heavily. Because there's a lot of them. There's a black horror movie, all black cast, and it's a clown based on a clown. I cannot think of it. Came out. I love
Is
watching.
it the blackening?
What was that?
No, it's not. This came out like in the early 2000s. It's
Oh,
so good. Like it's I'm gonna have to find it now. I'm gonna have to hunt for that. I'll send it to you guys when I find it. But it was good. It was actually legit. And they made like another one. It's part two to it too. Oh, God, I'm gonna have to figure it out. It was definitely like a slasher, clown slasher. It was good.
I'm gonna have to watch that because I do like regular slasher movies, but you throw a clown in there and it just gets. Sometimes it's really campy though. Um, like they're very aware of what they're doing, and I do appreciate that.
Right, right. I don't mind campy. Campy doesn't make me mad or bother me, or I mean, it's kind of good.
Like campy?
Campy horror. I don't mind it. Evil
Mhm.
Dead was really campy. It turned into a huge franchise.
Evil Dead. Oh, there's a new one that came out. I didn't see yet.
Oh, really? I know he had turned into a series, I thought, or something on AMC or something, I think.
I've been on this American Horror Story kick rewatching them. Well, I haven't watched all of them, but of course, like I like Murder House, Coven, In a Hotel are like my favorites. And then I'm watching 1984 now, and I just finished Roanoke. Roanoke. Have you guys watched that? Because at the end of it, it really was at the end, the more it built up, it really was kind of creepy, and it was like really like, damn, this is like some fucking crazy ass shit. But at the end of it.
Yeah, I feel like that season was slept on. I don't like that. That was really good to me.
That was my first time like watching it. I just finished it a few days ago, and like the way the story built up, I was like, oh my gosh. It like especially near the end, but like they had like one of these episodes to where it looked very real, to where like they were like hostage, like one of the main characters was like hostage and stuff, and it just seemed so real and so like found footage, and it was just like, oh wow. But yeah, anyways, yeah,
Yeah,
that was slept on.
very scary.
But then we got like this new one called Delicate with Emma Roberts and Kim Kardashian. So this is going to be interesting. So I can't
Yeah,
wait.
I'm eager to see this one. I'm really good. They said this is gonna like possibly take on like I loved Rosemary's Baby. I listened to that before I ever saw the film. I had like the audio tape on a cassette.
Yeah, when I
So
saw that trailer, I said, "Oh, this is basically like Rosemary's Baby, basically.
mhm.
She's having a baby, and all of this is happening, and some crazy stuff's going to happen." But cool. Okay, guys. Well, I just want to thank you for like coming here today, chatting with us about horror, random stuff. You know, your like being stalked stories, people in the mall, people about Uber drivers, my favorite final girls, paranormal stuff. This is just what I wanted just to get started with the spooky season because I'm really excited. I'm ready just to do like some fun spooky stuff next month. And so I just wanted to talk about, I don't know, just random spooky stuff. So thank you for joining and for showing up. And yeah. So until next time, everybody, be good, be great, do something cool, have fun, dress up for Halloween, and thank you.